Welcome back to the Fighters Corner Podcast, another podcast epi. Today we bring back one of my favorite guests of the show and one of the top dogs in the boxing welterweight division, Keith "One-Time" Thurman. He sat down with me and Jonah to preview the big fight coming up this weekend with Shawn Porter and Earl Spence Jr., which I'm expecting Fight of the Year candidate. And he also gave us his thoughts and predictions on that, as well as recapping a little bit the fight he had with Pac-Man back in July. Keith had plenty to say, and it was a real quick interview, but real good content with what he provided us. All this and much more. Enjoy the show. So who are you taking in this weekend's fights? I know who I got, and it's not who you think. So I'm going to take my picks over to the world's safest and most trusted online gambling site and make a few bets. That's right, it's BetDSI.com. With more than 20 years' experience in the online gaming industry, BetDSI has the best sign-up and deposit promotions on the web. They also boast more deposit options than any other betting site, including fast, free, and secure payouts. Also, for our listeners, they are offering a special promotion where you can build a bigger bankroll and get 100% sports cash bonus when using our promo code Fighters Corner, all one word. That's 50% more sports cash by using our promo code Fighters Corner. Check out BetDSI for all your online gaming needs. This episode is sponsored by B2 Digital. B2 Digital is doing some really cool things in the mixed martial art world. They're kind of creating a farm league for the bigger shows, and they are listed on a publicly traded company, listed on the stock exchange, BTDG on the stock exchange. They support our show. Guys, please, if you guys like this show, please give them a look, and if you can throw some support their way, man, it'd be greatly appreciated. Also, please don't forget to subscribe, hit like, share, all because you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Radio Player, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and the guy sitting next to you on the train is probably listening to us too. And if you're a fan of boxing, jiu-jitsu, kumite, and even capoeira, go check out my guys at UCL MMA. These guys are the heavyweight champions of mixed martial arts shows. And if you think you're the next Johnny Lawrence, go to their website at uclmma.com, shoot them an email and tell them John sent you before asking their matchmaker that you want to defend your All-Valley Karate Championship versus one of their fighters. That's uclmma.com. Welcome back to the Fighters Corner Podcast. I'm John Goroski, and sitting with me in for Mike Davis is the Jonah Williams.
Hey, what's going on, people?
And Jonah, today we got one of my favorite guests returning. Why? Because he's made me eat so much humble pie that I started to like him. Welcome back to the show, Keith "One-Time" Thurman.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Thanks, Keith. So, Keith, before we get into the meat of the show, tell me how things have been since the Pacquiao fight. More importantly, tell me how the fans have been with you since the fight.
It's not fun taking your first career loss.
Sure.
Loss to a legend. It was such a close fight. It was a tremendous fight. A great night of boxing. I definitely didn't feel like I won the fight. I didn't really feel like I lost the fight. But I didn't get the draw. He got the split decision. So it just is what it is. I reflect on some of the mistakes, certain things that happened in camp, other things that went on. But all in all, he fought a smart fight. And, at the end of the fight, it was a lesson and a lesson. Of course, I hope for an opportunity to get a rematch if he's open for it and it fits his schedule. But outside of that, all is well. Man, the fans are just, they're stoked, man. They're on a whole nother level.
That's good.
There's people who didn't love Keith Thurman that now love Keith Thurman.
I was going to say that.
Still just backing me. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I've always been a fan of yours, unlike a lot of people who had to come around. Everyone I know is a fan of Keith Thurman now. Your stock has gone up so much. It was a really good fight. It was a really close fight.
But you've earned the respect of the fans. And Keith, in the industry, that's what we call a face turn. You know what I mean? So now, Keith, you respectfully always said publicly that if Pac-Man could beat you and he can give you that loss, then so be it. And that's pretty much what happened. And after the fight was over, you have the choice to either do one of two things. You do the respectable way with your chin up, accepting the loss, which I think you and I think you
100%.
and I think you won some fans over in the process, or you have the Adrien Broner way, which obviously you didn't do. Where you think you won every single round, and then everybody's not in your favor, and the judges suck, and this, and that. So, Keith, break down the Pac-Man fight for me. Like, what do you think went right? What do you think went wrong? What would you do different for the next one?
A lot of things went right. Everything in the first round was right up until the knockdown. I was actually winning the round. I opened up strong, and when I took off the gas and I decided to back up for a second and just see, I pretty much gave him an opportunity, and he just actually jumped and seized the opportunity. I wasn't sure that he was, he wasn't fighting back a lot, so I wasn't sure that he was really ready for that, and he just was waiting for a moment apparently, and when he saw me move back, he jumped forward and caught me moving backwards, and, the backwards momentum when I made me go down when I took the shot. Everybody knows the fundamentals, who know the fundamentals of boxing know that most trainers will tell fighters, don't move straight back. And, the way that knockdown happened is a great example on why not. So, besides that, I was pressing him, the beginning of the fight really didn't go my way, but, I kept coming back strong. I wanted to win the fight. I showed that I wanted to win the fight. I caught him with a few rallies. He kept his hands up. He stood tall. He endured like a veteran champion like himself, should. And, man, I just got a lot of great respect for him after being in the ring with him. It was a great fight. Judges do suck, but we know that ultimately, the golden rule is don't leave it up to the judges.
That's right.
If you don't like relying on the judges, don't leave it up to the judges. And this time the judgment did not go my way, in my favor. So at the end of the day, I feel like I needed a knockdown to win or draw the fight. And at the end of the day, I missed my opportunity. So
Keith,
it was just a great fight.
Keith,
And,
what surprised you more, his power or his speed?
His speed, I guess, was a little bit more surprising than the power. We expected the power, and we weren't sure how to gauge the speed. So.
Okay. Well, Keith, I know you said previously that you're going to be taking the rest of 2019 off. Are we still on that? Are we still on that schedule? Are you still taking the rest of 2019 off?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
It's a must. So.
Good. Because I know you're having some fun with PBC and doing the commentating and stuff like that, which we're going to get to in a minute. But so, give me the forecast for 2020. Like, who are you looking at? What are the possibilities? What would you like to do? What would you like to see? What in the boxing realm? What's next for Keith Thurman?
For right now, it's debatable. But just to shine a little bit of light on it, I got to talk to my team. We got to go over some things. But, there's the possible rematch. There's just a get-back fight, right? Find a way to get a W under your belt after suffering your first loss, but in a respectful manner. Outside of that, there's some competition that we, to open up later this year, depending on how fights play out and what else happens in the welterweight division and what may happen at the start of next year. So for right now, we're just keeping all our doors open and, looking forward to how to get back into the sport and keep entertaining the fans.
So I remember seeing some stuff that was published online, a little bit after the Thurman Pac-Man fight, and Adrien Broner kind of threw you under the bus, man, saying that he was hanging out with you the night before and he kept you up all night and this and that. I also heard two rumblings that there possibly could be a Keith Thurman versus Adrien Broner bout. Are you interested in something like that?
He just ran his mouth after the fight.
It's typical, right?
Talking and steering some people into that direction, but obviously like I said, we have no direction right now, and we haven't even considered the fight. It's a possible fight. I mean, I've had people ask me years ago to fight Adrien Broner. You know, after he lost to, but before he fought Shawn Porter, there were people that were interested in that fight. So I think there's fans that are interested in that fight. But yeah, as of right now, like I said, man, we're just keeping all our doors open.
Right.
And it is what it is.
Gotcha. So on to the next thing. So this weekend, I'm not sure if you've paid attention or not, Keith, but there's a pretty big fight with Earl Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter. Your boy, Shawn Porter. How do you think? Here, let me ask you this, man. Disagree with me if you want, but I think Shawn Porter is going to be in a world of hurt this weekend. Am I off by saying that, or you think I'm somewhat right?
You got a good percentage in your favor, you know. It's almost a coin toss, that statement. It's almost 50-50.
Okay.
You know, because I felt the same way when I fought him, right?
Okay.
And ultimately, we saw what happened in the fourth round when I caught him and he gave me that bear hug.
Yeah.
You know, so. You know, there were moments where I really think I could have had him hurt. There were moments when I reflected on that fight. I wonder if I could have hurt him because I actually, you know, because I befriended him, right? Like, after you land that big shot, you take a step back almost as if, like, you would in sparring, right?
Right.
I was wondering, you know, why maybe not close the show with Shawn. And I just don't see, you know, Errol having that problem if it was an issue, because, like I said, I reflected after the fight, you know. If it was an issue somehow in me during the fight, I don't think Errol's stepping in the fight with that at all. So, and honestly, watching Errol's career, he's a good closer. If he gets you hurt, he closes well. You really don't want to be hurt in front of Errol Spence when he's not hurt, because I mean, he just really closes well. He steps it down and just takes advantage of opportunities.
Yeah.
So,
he is a great closer, but he does not have nearly the power you do.
Shawn might get really hurt, but he's really tough. We all know that. No one's ever stopped him. So just as, you know, easily we can say he can get hurt, he can easily endure, and it can be a 12-round fight just the same.
Right. The thing is, though, I think he's got a tough task ahead of him, because I don't think he can handle the volume that Earl Spence is going to throw at him. I mean, like, Shawn is athletic enough to hang with him, but I mean, Earl Spence throws a lot. He throws punches in bunches, man, and that could be frustrating to a boxer, you know, especially if you're not ready for that type of speed either. Do you think Shawn Porter can handle that? I mean, you've dealt with him. I mean, you've been in the ring with him, so and you kind of do the same thing too.
I mean, it's all about his boxing, man. All that volume doesn't matter. What matters is that you land good shots, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, if he's landing good shots from round one, like, honestly, I mean, I didn't like Shawn Porter's defense against Danny Garcia. I didn't like all his boxing on the outside against Ugas. So, you know, if he comes in with those kind of mistakes, you know, I don't think he's going to be able to walk away sitting well. But, you know, when he fought me, I mean, from the beginning, he kept his right hand up. Why? Because he knows me, and he knows my left hook is going to come out. And he really blocked it, like, consistently throughout rounds. And you know, and that just shows that, you know, to me, it shows two things. One, that he's being smart, he's being aware, but two, he respects me. So when I saw him getting caught by Danny, I felt like he's not keeping his hands up. Maybe he doesn't respect Danny the same. You know, I just hope that he goes in with a high level of respect with Errol Spence and just really goes full throttle, and then maybe put Errol in an uncomfortable situation, a situation he's never been in his career, and then we have to see how he reacts from there.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to sit here and make the Fighter's Corner prediction on this fight, and I think that Earl Spence Jr. is going to finish Shawn Porter. I really think, man.
Well, like Thurman just said, I think Shawn Porter, how Shawn Porter comes into it is going to make the difference.
Yeah.
If Porter comes in showing a lot of respect, and, you know, if he comes in showing that respect.
Yeah, I mean, what if Porter does the thing that Mikey did? What if he does a whole bunch of in and out, doesn't try to get hit, And, I mean, that's boxing for you, man. It's really hard to predict a fight because it's two men and their will to fight.
Yeah.
How bad they want to fight, how bad they're willing to take chances and risk and damage and still continue till the fight's over.
Right.
What happens when does Shawn get hit and then does he go for broke and gets caught and gets knocked out? Does Shawn get hit and get very defensive, and starts moving around and wasting clock? Does he hold? Does anybody hold in the fight? What happens? So, I mean, that's why you should be tuning in, right? I mean,
absolutely. This is definitely a fight to watch.
I think it's going to be action-packed. I gear more towards a great fight over a dud. I think it's going to be more action than the Mikey Garcia fight. But regardless, each and every way, no matter how the fight goes, for the most part, Errol has always shown his skills. So I believe that he's going to find a way to do that once again.
So, two-part question for you. Who do you think's going to win, and who do you want to win?
Well, I think Errol's going to win, and really, I don't want. I really don't want anyone to win. It doesn't really bother me either way.
You're not rooting for anybody?
It affects me, but I'd rather just see it play out because if Shawn Porter wins, he accomplishes the greatest feat of his professional career.
I agree with that.
And he puts himself, arguably in the top 3 again. And it will shake the welterweight division and just show how nothing is solid. It'll prove that we're definitely outside of the Mayweather era, right? Of one guy being the dominant champion forever and ever. So, and that, we're back in Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, where these guys are fighting for it. Everybody's fighting for it, Yeah. And they're going to have to do a rematch, and it just would be what it is, man. And it would be entertaining. But if Errol wins and just, how does he win? 12th round, 8th round stoppage, 10th round stoppage, 2nd round stoppage, and that all affects the stock of Shawn Porter a little bit, but he's so accomplished, he can always do rematches with me or Danny. So at the end of the day, man, it's just a great fight. I'm going to be there, and I want to see what happens in the end.
Yeah. The previous fight that you had with Shawn Porter was incredible. I mean, it was probably one of my all-time favorite fights. And in fact, like I was watching PBC the other day, and they were recapping a little bit too, and it was just after I watched that little 30-minute show on PBC, I had to actually go back and rewatch the fight because it was that damn good. And honestly, as a fan, I'd welcome a rematch between you and Shawn Porter again, regardless if he wins or loses against Earl Spence on Saturday. So I mean it was fireworks everywhere, man. I mean you guys are actually in combat sports right now, in my opinion, because of all the crap talking that goes on between you guys when you guys are next to each other in the room. I mean I think it's probably one of the biggest rivalries in combat sports right now. You know what I mean? And you can't deny it, Keith, right? Or what? Or what?
I mean, he's definitely salty. He put up a great fight. And yeah, I know he would always warrant a rematch. I'd give it to him. Why not?
Yeah.
It just is what it is. It's great competition. I believe that I beat him once, I beat him twice. Same goes with Danny Garcia. And everybody's ready for a fight. So that's why right now we just got to keep everything open and see how we're going to keep working next year.
Gotcha.
I look forward to anything and everything, man. Boxing is my life, it's my dream, it's my passion. So, all these fights are great fights.
Yeah. So Keith, it sounds like you're taking some time and doing some commentating for BBC. What's that about? Like, what role are you taking with BBC as far as like outside of the boxing ring with them?
It's just talent for hire. We're just working with them. I like being close to the fights. And the studio is just it's a different thing, but it's really nice. And it's just boxing, man, keeping my face on TV, keep engaging the fans, keeping them updated with just information like we're doing now.
Gotcha.
I also want to talk to you a little bit about your early professional career. Most guys who get to 29-0, they kind of get fed early and they kind of get brought up. You really seem to be thrown to the dogs. You just happen to outfight the dogs. Is that kind of like an outside? Is that an accurate assessment looking from the outside in?
My early pro career?
Yeah, your early pro career. You had a number of undefeated fighters early on, and of course you beat them all.
Yeah, you don't get easy fights, Keith. Why is that? I don't think you ever turn down fights. It doesn't sound like it, man. Because it seems like the tougher the opponent, man, the wider your eyes get, and the faster you say, "Yeah, I'll take that fight."
The thing is, man, I don't like training really hard for something that's not going to be an actual event. You know.
So you feel like the tougher the fighter, the easier it is to train for.
The work is hard. Yeah, I don't want to. I started my professional career with 8 consecutive first-round knockouts. So. If I wanted to be 18-0 with 18 first-round consecutive knockouts, clearly I could have done that, but we didn't want to do that, I've competed at the highest ranking level of the amateurs, losing to Demetrius Andrade in the Olympic trials for the '08 Olympic Games. And, I was a 7-time national champion, so I'm just used to competing at the highest level. So obviously I didn't want to just sit around and not compete. I've always wanted to see how far I can go and how much I can push myself and what it feels like to be at the top of the sport that I love.
All right, excellent. So we're on a real tight timetable with this. We really appreciate your time as always. One real quick thing is not necessarily related to fighting, but everybody, you're known for being very well read, for being very cerebral, always kind of having books in your hand. Do you have any book recommendations? Anything you're currently reading that you'd like to recommend to people?
Nah, actually, I haven't been reading lately. Busy with the last camp and everything else that's gone on post-fight. But I was thinking about going to Amazon and getting an old one that I used to really like to help stay open-minded and positive, and that's Buddha's Little Handbook.
I heard about that.
I got it at Barnes & Noble way back in the day. It's one of those reads you can just sit down and almost read it every day from cover to cover, because every page is like a 2-liner. They're all like nothing but quotes. But it's just a great little book, and I enjoy things like that just as much as other books. It's just like little booklets that you can just run through.
That is a phenomenal book. I've actually given that book to a number of people just because it's such a like you said, you don't have to sit there and have hours to read a book cover to cover. Something's going on, you just read a line or something, and it just gives you a way to think.
Cool. Well, Keith, we appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, and you're always going to be busy. So, Keith, with that, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for giving us the time you did today. We're always in your corner, Keith. Good luck.
And thank you for all the great fights. Like I said, I've been a fan for so many years. Obviously, losses suck, and I'm not going to sit here and act like losses aren't supposed to suck, but your stock went up so much. It was such a great fight, such a close fight. We can't wait to see what you got coming in 2020.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the love and support. Till next time.
Yeah, you got it, Keith. Thanks again. Take care, bud.
All right, be good.